Hi, everybody. This is Denise Tawwab coming back for the last segment in the NIST Special Publication 850 overview that we're doing. This is part 5. We're talking about Security Awareness and Training Program post-implementation activities. Okay, here's where we are in the series. Part 1, we talked about the components that make up an information security awareness and training program. We talked about in part 2, designing an awareness and training program. Part 3, developing IT security awareness and training material. In video 4, we did implementing an IT security awareness and training program. And in this 5th and final video, we will talk about post-implementation activities after you've done your training. We're going to do an overview, and then we'll talk about monitoring compliance, evaluation and feedback, managing change, ongoing improvement, raising the bar, and program key indicators. Again, these are your key steps to program implementation. You start with a needs assessment, you develop a program strategy, a program plan, awareness and training material, you implement the program, and then you get to where we are now, discussing post implementation. An IT security and awareness and training program can quickly become obsolete if you don't pay sufficient attention to technology advancements, your IT infrastructure, organizational changes, and any shifts in your mission and or priorities. CIOs and the IT security program managers need to stay cognizant of any potential problems and incorporate mechanisms into their strategy to ensure the program continues to be relevant and compliant with your overall objectives. I did not say that well. Let me try that again. CIOs and IT security program managers need to be cognizant of this potential problem and incorporate mechanisms into their strategy to ensure that the program continues to be relevant and compliant with overall objectives. Continuous improvement should always be the theme for your security awareness and training initiatives, and this is one area where you can never do enough. Let's talk about monitoring compliance. Once implemented, processes have to be put in place to monitor compliance and effectiveness. Tracking compliance involves assessing the status of your training and awareness program as indicated by the database information and mapping it to standards established by the agency. You can generate reports and use those to identify gaps or problems. You're going to have to take corrective action and necessary follow up. This may take the form of formal reminders to management, additional awareness, training, or education offerings, and or the establishment of a corrective plan with scheduled completion dates. An automatic tracking system should be designed to capture key information regarding program activity, for example, courses, dates, audience cost, and sources. You want to capture data at an organizational level so that it can be used to provide enterprise wide analysis and reporting of awareness, training, and education initiatives. Requirements for your database should incorporate the needs of all of the intended users. Again, this is how you monitor compliance. Let's talk a bit about automated tracking. An automated tracking system should be designed or purchased to capture key information regarding program activity, for example, courses, dates, audience cost, and sources. You want to capture data at an organizational level so that it can be used to provide enterprise wide analysis and reporting of your awareness, training, and education initiatives. And requirements for the database should incorporate the needs of all intended users. Typical users of your program data, your training and awareness program data, are going to be your chief information officer, your IT security program manager, the human resources department, agency training departments, functional managers, auditors, of course, will want to see what you're doing around training, and the chief financial officers because they're looking at budgeting. So let's talk about how a CIO uses training and awareness program data. You use that data to support your strategic planning, um, inform senior management about the health of the program, identify your in house capabilities from a skills standpoint, identify critical needs in the security workforce, perform program analysis, identify activity enterprise wide, assist in security and IT budgeting, identify the need for program improvement, and also assess your compliance. Now, how an IT security program manager uses training and awareness program data. The IT security program manager uses this data to support security planning, to provide status reports to the CIO, other management, and security personnel, to justify funding requests, to demonstrate compliancy with your agency established goals and objectives, to identify vendors and other training sources, to respond to security related inquiries, to identify the current coverage, and to make adjustments for critical omissions. This is how the IT security program manager will use your training and awareness program data. Now, the human resources department is going to use this same data to do this. The human resources department is going to ensure that an effective mechanism exists for capturing all security related training, identify costs related to security training, assist in creating position descriptions, support status reporting, respond to training inquiries, and aid in professional development. Now, your training department will use your training and awareness program data to develop overall agency training strategy, to establish training database requirements that are tied to security directives, to identify possible training sources, support training requests, identify course relevance and popularity, support budgeting activity, and respond to any inquiries about training. Now, your functional managers are going to use training and awareness program data to monitor their users' training progress, to adjust user training plans as needed, to get status reports, to respond to inquiries regarding security training in their departments, to identify training sources and cost, and to support budgeting activities and proposals. Now, auditors will use your training and awareness program data to monitor your compliance with any security directives and your agency training policy. The chief financial officer will use your training and awareness program data to respond to budget inquiries, to assist in financial planning, and to provide reports to senior managers about security training funding activity. Okay, next up, we'll talk about evaluation and feedback. Formal evaluation and feedback mechanisms are crucial parts of any security awareness training and education program. Continuous improvement cannot occur without a good sense of how the existing program is working. The feedback mechanism must be designed to address objectives initially established for the program. Once the baseline requirements have been solidified, a feedback strategy can be designed and implemented. A feedback strategy needs to incorporate elements that will address quality, scope, deployment method, level of difficulty, ease of use, duration of session, relevancy, currency, and suggestions for modification. Some evaluation and feedback techniques. Many methods can be applied to solicit feedback. You can use evaluation forms, questionnaires, focus groups, selective interviews, independent observation and analysis, formal status reports, security program benchmarking. Okay, security program benchmarking, external view. This type of benchmarking is focused on the question, how do I rate among my peers? The externally focused form of security benchmarking compares an organization's performance against a number of other organizations. This type of benchmarking provides a report back to the agency on where they fall based on observed baselines across all organizations with data currently available. This benchmarking should include security awareness and training. It's normally done by experts in benchmarking techniques who have extensive data across a broad range of organizations over a fairly long duration. Okay, managing change, continuous improvement, and metrics. How do we do better? Change management is the component of the program designed to ensure that training, awareness, education deployments don't become stagnant. Managing change is designed to address changes in security policy and procedures reflected in the culture of the agency. Okay, when do you update the program? Well, your program has to be updated as new technology and associated security issues emerge. Training needs will shift as new skills and capabilities become necessary to respond to new architectural and or technology changes. A change in your organizational mission and objectives can also influence ideas about how best to design training venues and content. Then emerging issues such as homeland defense will also impact the nature and extent of security awareness activities that are necessary to keep users informed and educated about the latest exploits and countermeasures. New laws and court decisions may also impact agency policy that in turn may affect the development and or implementation of your awareness and training material. As security directives change or are updated, awareness and training materials should also reflect these changes. So, ongoing improvement, raising the bar. The focus of continuing improvement is on creating a level of excellence that achieves a pervasive security presence in your organization. The processes that deliver awareness, training, and education to the workforce should be totally integrated into the overall business strategy. A mature security awareness and training program defines a set of metrics for this area. Automated systems should be in place to support the capture of quantitative data and delivery of management information to accountable parties on a regular predefined cycle. Let me say that again. Automated systems should be put in place to support the capture of quantitative data and delivery of management information to accountable parties on a regular predefined cycle. Monitoring, follow up, and corrective procedures are well defined and seamless. Finally, you want to incorporate into the awareness and training program formal mechanisms for ongoing research in areas of technology advancement, good practices, and benchmarking opportunities. Some program success indicators. CIOs, program officials, and IT security program managers should be primary advocates for continuous improvement and for supporting the program. It is critical that everyone be capable and willing to carry out their assigned security roles in the organization. You're only as strong as the weakest link is true in security. Security is truly a team effort. Okay, let's talk quickly about some key indicators before we wrap up. Key indicators to gauge the support for acceptance of the program include sufficient funding to implement the agreed upon strategy. That's how you know you have management support. They actually give you the money to implement the strategy. Appropriate organizational placement to enable those with key responsibilities to effectively implement the strategy. Support for broad distribution and posting of security awareness items, and then senior level messages to staff about security. Managers abide by security controls consistently, just like non managerial employees. And another key indicator is level of attendance at mandatory security forums and or briefings. So this is how you measure the acceptance of your program. Use of metrics, decline in security incidents or violations. You want to see a shrinking gap between existing awareness and training coverage and identified needs. You want to see an increasing percentage of users being exposed to awareness material. And finally, you want to see an increase in the percentage of users who have significant security responsibilities being appropriately trained. Recognition of security contributions is another indicator. And then motivation demonstrated by those playing key roles in managing and coordinating the security program. And that, guys, is it for IT security awareness and training post implementation. Again, we talked about monitoring compliance, evaluation and feedback, managing change, ongoing improvement, and your key program indicators. Again, I thank you for listening. I appreciate your time and attention. I know that you could be doing anything else. I will continue to post about NIST special publications. Anytime you see the name of the publication in the title, I am staying close to the publication that I'm talking about. There'll be other videos that where I'll be more freeform and more spontaneous or whatever the word is. But thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, leave comments, And if you have questions or a video that you'd like for me or a publication you'd like for me to cover, leave that in the comment, and I will see you on the next video.